15 years of marriage felt like a lifetime. We had built a home, raised 2 kids, faced financial hardships, and celebrated many milestones together. Through it all, I believe we were a solid team. My wife, Karen, and I had our ups and downs, but I never imagined she'd stray from the vows we once made in front of family and friends. For months, I sensed something was off. Karen was distant. She spent more time on her phone, claimed to be tired all the time, and avoided intimacy. At first, I blamed work stress or maybe a midlife phase. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. The woman I once called my best friend now seemed like a stranger living under the same roof. One evening, she told me she was going out to dinner with a few old friends. I didn't question it. I nodded, smiled, and told her to have fun. But an hour later, curiosity gnawed at me. Something didn't sit right. I opened her laptop, the one she often left open on the dining table. Her email was still logged in. I didn't want to snoop, but my gut told me I needed answers. I clicked into her inbox and found recent messages from someone named Dave. My heart raced as I read them. They weren't work emails or casual chats. They were flirty, emotional exchanges. One stood out. "Can't wait to see you tonight. I've missed you." My hands trembled. I couldn't believe it. Kara was going out with another man. After 15 years together, this was how she repaid my loyalty? I felt a mixture of anger, heartbreak, and disbelief. But I didn't lash out. I didn't call or confront her. I decided to do something different. Something that would truly show her what I was made of. I got dressed, grabbed my keys, and drove to the restaurant mentioned in one of the emails. I parked across the street and waited. 10 minutes later, I saw her. Karen stepped out of a cab, looking radiant. Not like someone worn out from motherhood or marriage. She looked like a woman on a first date. Then came Dave. He was younger than me, well-dressed and confident. He greeted her with a warm hug, one that lingered just a little too long. My heart sank, but I didn't move. I didn't want a scene. I wanted clarity. They walked inside, unaware of my presence. I waited a few minutes, then entered the restaurant and asked the hostess for a table across from theirs, hidden just enough to observe without being seen. They laughed, touched hands across the table, and shared a bottle of wine. It was intimate, like watching someone else play the role I once had. I felt like a ghost, invisible to the life I helped create. But instead of storming in, I took a deep breath and left. I went home and began packing my things. I didn't want to scream or accuse. I wanted her to see the consequences of her betrayal without me having to say a word. By the time she returned, I was almost done. She walked in, surprised to see the living room half empty. "What's going on?" she asked, confused. I looked at her calmly and said, "I know about Dave. I saw you tonight. I didn't interrupt because I wanted you to enjoy your evening. But now it's time for me to go." Her face went pale. "You followed me?" "No," I replied. "I read your emails. I confirmed the truth. Then I went to see it with my own eyes. I didn't cause a scene. I wanted you to have your moment before I took mine." Tears welled in her eyes. "It's not what you think." "Karen," I interrupted. "Don't insult me further. I saw everything. I don't need your explanations." She begged me to stay, saying it was a mistake, a temporary lapse in judgment. But I remained calm. "You had choices, and you made them. Now I'm making mine." I moved into a hotel that night. Over the next few days, I made arrangements with a lawyer. I didn't rush. I wanted to handle everything with dignity. My kids were my priority. I didn't want them caught in a messy storm of emotions. Karen called and messaged constantly. She showed up at my temporary place crying, pleading, promising to change. But the trust was gone. Love without trust is just an illusion. Eventually, she admitted it had been going on for a few months. She met Dave at a conference. They stayed in touch, and it escalated from there. She claimed she felt unseen at home, that I had grown too comfortable, too distant. Maybe I had, but cheating was never the answer. I agreed to co-parent peacefully for the kids' sake, but I didn't move back. I found a small apartment, decorated it with care, and started rebuilding my life. At first, The loneliness was crushing. But slowly, I began rediscovering who I was without her. Months passed. Karen kept reaching out, asking for another chance. I told her I forgave her, but I couldn't forget. We had shared 15 years. But trust once shattered can't be pieced back the same way. I started therapy, focused on my health, and even joined a hiking group. I met new people, made new memories, and allowed myself to heal. Eventually, I realized that Karen's betrayal was a painful blessing. It forced me to grow, to reflect, to find strength I never knew I had. Now, when I look back, I don't feel anger. I feel peace. Because I didn't lose myself in the chaos. I stayed calm, chose dignity, and walked away on my own terms. And that, more than anything, is what shocked her the most.